beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Yemi Ayodeji, and this channel is all about inspiring you to own your life, live up to your potentials, and be your best self. So today I thought to share with you guys 5 books that changed my life. These books had a significant influence in my life, and so I decided to share them with you guys. Now, I'm not recommending these books to you. I'm just sharing my personal growth, my personal development journey through books with you guys. So if you are inspired by these books, please go ahead and read them. But before I get into the books I intend to mention in this video, I want to introduce something that I will be starting on my channel from today's video, because I don't want you guys to just watch my video for watching sake, but I want you to get value in every content I put out, and I want you to actually implement them. So there's going to be a weekly challenge at the end of every video. There's going to be a challenge, something that you can do during the course of the week that will empower you and also engage you to improve yourself daily. So for this week, the challenge is for you to identify your source of learning. How do you learn? How do you improve yourself? Is it through books? Is it through podcasts? Or is it just by studying your environment? Just identify what works for you. And then if you already know this about yourself, then do something about it every day. So you can either read a page of a book every day, or you listen to a podcast every day, or you study or do something every day that relates to how you improve yourself. No pressure. This is not to pressure you in any way, but this is just to encourage you to take conscious effort towards improving yourself every day, and ultimately you improve the quality of your life. All right? Yeah, now let's get back to the books. So the first book that changed my life is Gifted Hands. And this book is by Ben Carson. He is a retired surgeon, and at the time he wrote this book, he was the first doctor, the first surgeon to separate Siamese twins. The part of this book that I really liked that had an impact in my life was the chapter that was dedicated to his mom. I think it was chapter 2 or chapter 3 of that book. He was dedicated to his mom. Honestly, his mom's journey, her life story really challenged me to be a better woman, to live a purposeful life as a woman. Her story really empowered me to rise above any limitations that I am facing or I may face in the future. She was a woman that she couldn't read or write. She wasn't illiterate. She got married to a man, a pastor, who she later found out that he wasn't really a man of God. And she had a lot of expectations for that marriage. Like, the marriage was everything she had. But then it got to a point that she realized that she had to leave this marriage. So she left the marriage, she left everything she had, and then she launched into a journey that she wasn't even sure about. She didn't know anything. She didn't know what to do with herself, but she left that situation because she realized that it wasn't good for her. It wasn't good for her children. Now, she was able to get help from people. She learned from her environment. Everywhere she worked for a lot of rich people because she was doing a lot of menial jobs. So she worked for a lot of rich people, and while she was working for them, she was studying everything about these people because she had a projection of what she wanted her life to look like in the future. That even though she wasn't getting it at that time, she was studying her environment. Everything she studied, she would come back home and then she would impact that knowledge on her children. So her journey, her life really influenced me, and some of the things I even learned in that book, I still apply them today. She would tell her children that you need to live up to your potentials. And it was in that book I first heard that statement. And then the second time I heard it was from my husband. If you guys watched the video I made on how to rediscover yourself, I think I mentioned that phrase there, that somebody told me to live up to my potentials, and I didn't know how. Yeah, now you know the person that said that. Okay, so that's just it. Like, Gifted Hands was the very first book that I read that really changed my mindset. And I told myself that I want to live like this woman. I want to be like this woman. I want to raise children that will make a difference in our world. And I also do not want to lose myself in the process. So yeah, Gifted Hands is the very first book that changed my life. So the second book I read that influenced my life is Why You Act the Way You Do. And this book was written by Tim LaHaye. I know a lot of you must have heard about this book, and I read this book when I was in my in 200 level my first year in the university. It was my friend's book. Maureen, shout out to you. So this book is about temperament. It talks about the different temperaments that we have, the 4 temperaments that we have. It analyzed the weaknesses and the strengths of each temperament. The book talks about how to improve your relationship with others and also how God can use your gifts for his purpose. And the book really made me self-aware. It increased my self-awareness, so I was able to understand myself better. I knew that, oh, this is why I'm acting like this, oh, this is why I'm like this. And by the way, for those of you who are interested, I am a dominant sanguine. So the 4 temperaments we have are sanguine, phlegmatic, melancholy, and sanguine, phlegmatic, choleric, and melancholy. So yeah, I'm a dominant sanguine. Some of you can already tell. If you know me, you know that I am a dominant sanguine. Another thing I learned about that book is that you cannot be 100% one temperament. You can be more than one or a little bit of about 3. For me, after analyzing myself, I think I am 70% sanguine, 20% phlegmatic, and maybe 10% melancholy, because sometimes I can be very, very meticulous. Sometimes, but I'm more of a sanguine. Okay, so that book was the first book I read that helped me to understand myself better. It increased my self-awareness. It helped me to also understand why other people acted the way they did. You guys will think that after reading that book, I would understand people, like I would stop judging people. It's a lie. So I would look at people and be like, see her, she's a choleric. Look at her, she's a melancholy, dominant sanguine. The book basically helped me to understand myself better as a person. I became more aware of myself. So understanding this temperament will help you to live a fulfilling and a more balanced life, because you are aware of yourself, you are aware of the people you are dealing with, and overall you just have a better relationship. If you are not like me. That's why sometimes it is not just head knowledge that is important. The application of the things that you read and the things that you learn is much more important than just having it in your head. Don't be like me that will just be judging people because of what you have read. So the third book that changed my life is The Smart Money Woman. Some of you might already know this book. If you do not know this book and you need help with your financial life, please go and get this book. Like, get this book. You will not remain the same. Trust me. The Smart Money Woman by Arese Ugu. She's a Nigerian. She's a Nigerian author. It was my friend's book. My friend came over to where I was at that time, and she came with this book. So I borrowed the book, I read it, and when I read the first chapter, like, I was hooked to this book. At the end of each chapter, she would give you a summary, like an advice, a financial advice on what, the whole chapter is about. So if the chapter is about investment, she would give you tips on investment. If it's about debt, she would give you like how to slay your debt. And the book is very relatable. The storyline is about 5 different ladies and their financial journey, their financial struggles. At the time I read this book, I could not finish it at that time as well, because my friend had to go back with the book, so I couldn't finish it. But everything I read at that time, I was writing it down in my journal. I was writing it down somewhere. So by the time I came to China, when I left Nigeria and I came here, I went ahead and I read this book online. I went to read a soft copy of this book. I'm not really a fan of soft copy books because I like hard copy. I like to highlight things on my book. So yeah, the book really helped me to be more financially literate, if I can put it that way. It just helped me to understand my finances better, how to save better, how to start an emergency fund, how to just be better with my finances. You guys, I'm just a spender. Like, I spend for no reason. I spend for no reason. Even okay, that's it. So the first book that influenced my life and changed my life is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book, if you haven't read it, please go and read it. So the name of this book is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this book, I would not even call it habits. I would say the principles of highly effective people. Okay, this book will walk you through all the principles mentioned in the book. If you want to live a meaningful life, if you want to live a purposeful life, if you want to live a happier life, let me even put it that way. If you want to live a happier life, maybe you don't even want to dream big, maybe you just want to be comfortable where you are, this book is also for you. While I was reading this book, I had to pause, read, pause, reflect, take down notes. Like, it was just so good. I read this book. The book was given to me by a friend when I came to China, and I'm really, really very grateful that she gave me this book, because I've never heard of this book before that time that she gave me the book. So yeah, I read this book. I couldn't highlight because it wasn't my book. So I don't know how my husband got to know about this book. He also read the book and we had to buy our own copy in our house. You know, we had to get our own copy ourselves. It challenged me to live a more intentional life. It challenged me to be more intentional about my life, not to just live by default, you know, to plan my life, to create the life I want for myself. One thing I've applied in that book that I'm still applying, that we are applying now, is the personal mission statement in that book. There's a part in that book that talks about your personal mission statement and even your family mission statement. That is one thing that we are applying in my household right now and even in my personal life. And that has really been, oh my God. Like when I'm about to finish this video, now it decided to get cloudy. The sun decided to go down. Anyway, you guys should just ignore the lightning. I think I'm getting darker. Anyway, the last book that changed my life and influenced my thinking is The Mindset. And that book was written by Carol Dweck. I'm obsessed with the way the mind and the brain works. Like, if I had a superpower, it would be to read people's mind. Like, I would love to know what is going on people's mind. Such a very, very interesting superpower to have, right? Yeah. So this book is all about the mindset. So before reading this book, I used to think that I have a growth mindset because yeah, I love to grow. I love to challenge myself to grow. So I thought I had a growth mindset in all areas of life. But after reading this book, the book talks about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset and the characteristics of this true mindset in different areas of life, in parenting, in your social life, in your relationships, in your career, all areas of life basically. But after reading this book, I realized that I still have a fixed mindset in certain area with certain issues. And the book just challenged me to be more flexible in some areas, you know, so that I can be open to other people's perspectives, so that I can be open to corrections in those areas and ultimately grow myself. So yeah, these are the 5 books that have really challenged me and really changed my life. So like I said, I'm going to start a challenge on my channel weekly, and like I mentioned earlier, the challenge for this week is for you to identify your major source of learning, how you learn, and do something about it every day. Please follow me on my social media page on Instagram. Yeah, I would love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to leave me a comment on which of these books have you read, which book have you read, and how did it motivate you, how did it change your life. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today once again. I really, really appreciate it. And I thank you for all the love on my previous videos. So if you're new here, please do well to click on the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any upload from me. And don't forget to check out my other videos. I'm going to leave links in the card section and also in the I'm going to leave links in the card section and also in the description box for you guys as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.